Hey guys, Scary here doing another video today. I am bringing you a video about my top 7 concerns I have about World of Warcraft Legion. So let's get right into it. My first concern that I have about World of Warcraft Legion is the time till Legion. If you were to ask me before the announcement, before Gamescom, I would tell you that I would think it's very close. And this is before we knew the name, before we knew the details. But now, after a lot of interviews have happened and after a lot of information has came to surface, I would say that I'm a little worried about what the timing is. I think that there was a lot of interviews where J. Allen Brack, his responses were, "We aren't sure how we're going to do it yet, but we know we want to do this." One specific instance that I remember was where he was asked about the dungeons, where he was asked, "Hey, with the Warlords experience and how dungeons weren't motivated, what do you think?" And he says, "Well, we want to make dungeons something that you need to do or want to do longer, reward you for it. We're just not sure how to do it yet." And, it's a little concerning that they're not really sure. On a couple other questions he was asked, he said, we want to do it, but we're not sure how to do it yet. And so the time till it actually comes out, time till beta, is, I'm a little concerned about what we're looking at here, and I think I'm hoping for beta alpha around BlizzCon time and release a little beginning of next year in the first quarter, but especially thinking about how long 6.2 is currently, how far we are into 6.2 right now, and how long it will actually end up lasting, it's a little concerning. My second part that I am concerned about is no stat squish. Right now, people are doing 100,000 DPS, 150,000 DPS, in those ranges. And we started, Warlords with around 20k DPS, 30k DPS. Health pools right now are in hundreds of thousands. And some people, even with enough stuff, getting close to 1 million, if not breaking it. Bears, for example. So it's a little concerning to think about with no stat squish what our numbers are going to do, and the crits we're hitting now, hundreds of thousands of crits, what those will end up being. And I think that maybe a stat squish is something that they need to really be considering for how they're going to do it. I think that maybe they didn't, in my opinion, do enough of a pullback. I think DPS should have started in Warlords somewhere around like 10,000 or something, and kind of ended and more towards the 60, 70k mark and allowed it for a little more space. But we're really just going to have to see what's going to end up happening. I think my number 2 concern is the Demon Hunter jump ability, the double jump. I think there's a little bit of concern of what the ability has in terms of power. I think it's a really cool ability. I'm really excited for trying it out. But I think as far as its use in arena, hoping like things like Tiger's Peak and Dollar and Sewers, where they can maybe jump over obstacles that otherwise people would have to run around to allow more space and time for players. A little concerning if they're going to allow that to work in there. Tom Chilton actually clarified that it is going to be used in Battlegrounds at this point in time, and that's a little concerning when it comes to RPGs and even Battlegrounds themselves. What Demon Hunters will be able to jump over, what they'll be able to do in comparison to what other players can do. RPG is going to need 2 Demon Hunters, that way they're able to leap over things, or at least require one. And, even for, he said current content, they're really looking at the Demon Hunter and saying, we don't want them to be able to avoid mechanics, but it's bound to happen and it's going to happen. So where does that take place? I'm a little concerned about it. Another thing I'm concerned about right now is that there might not be a new talent row. So they kind of said that the artifact weapon has choices for you to make, and that they're thinking that might be enough. And my concern with it is the future of WoW. Looking at the next expansion, are they going to maybe continue the artifact weapon? Are you going to take it with you? Is that how you'd keep a quote-unquote talent row with you? Or how would that work? I also have a lot of concern with a lot of changes that they make to classes. For example, in the tier sets, 2 set, 4 set, whether it be rating or PvP, a lot of those have been like major mechanical fixes or big spell changes that have major impacts on class rotations and things. And so my worry is that these artifact weapons might take place of what they really just need to do to the class, and that they're going to actually alter things and be major things. I worry about them making changes to classes through this, and then in future, the next expansion, or whenever you wouldn't have your artifact weapon, that it might cause a little bit of problems. My next concern that I have is no PvP gear. I think this is a great move. I don't particularly like the idea of PvP gear, PvE gear, and I think that it's a smart move. The problem is my concern is the way they're going to do it. There's not a lot of information yet. Tom Chilton kind of said in an interview that he wants to have a lot of diminishing return on the item level of gear, so that way people that are in the top gear that come in from PvE won't be able to smash people that are just now digging to level 100. But there will be a percent gain, and as you know, with top arenas, with players that are competing for hundreds of thousands of dollars, these players are going to maybe have to do the top rating content, which, it is what it is. But how are we going to be able to earn gear in PvP? Is it going to be easier just to go ahead and run dungeons? Are we going to be able to do it and just start questing gear and be good? How's that really going to work? So I'm a little concerned on where that direction is going. I think they'll figure it out, but I'm a little concerned on where we're going with it. My next concern is that they still are claiming that they want to release expansions faster. As we saw with Warlords of Draenor, they were working or worked on Legion this entire time. They said that they worked on it before and during Warlords of Draenor, and look what's happened with Warlords of Draenor. A lot of things that didn't happen, they said they wanted to happen. A lot of the patches right now have been really poor and not a lot into them because they've had so much development on this next expansion. And so there's a lot of concern to me with them wanting to still release these expansions faster, where, they might end up cutting Legion short with a lot of things they want to do. While they are doing a good job of not really relaying a ton of stuff they're wanting to do with Legion, I think for the fear of giving broken promises, it's still concerning that they're wanting to release these expansions faster. My next concern is the 6 zones. I think there's a lot of concern with how much content there actually is going to be there. In Wrath of the Lich King, we had 9 of them, and one of them was a PvP zone. And 7 were in Warlords of Draenor. One of them came in 6.2, but only 6 on Legion, and 1 is your starter experience into the expansion. So my concern is that, Wrath of the Lich King offered a ton with as far as options go, your choices on where you can mine and herb. I think that it offered a lot more and give you more experience, and you could explore longer, and the zones lasted longer. Only having potentially 5 zones that you're going to actually be leveling in and experience, I think really could affect the world of Warcraft. And I hope that those areas are a lot bigger than what we hope and what we are seeing. And I hope they have a lot of content in them as far as questing or mobs or areas or zones inside the major zones. Overall, those are my 7 major concerns of World of Warcraft Legion. I think the expansion is going to be great, and I'm really looking forward to playing it and trying it out. But I just want to make a video kind of giving my concerns that I have about World of Warcraft Legion. If you guys would drop some comments below, let me know if you have any concerns, what you're thinking on my concerns. Like, comment, and subscribe for me. And thank you guys. Bye-bye now.